The cabinet selection, the cabinet vetting that is going on at the county assembly reminds me of two things. They remind me first of the time when I was in the very same room being asked questions. When I look at the TV, I just see myself at that place. I'll tell you how it all went. In the same room. The only difference between when I was there and now is that it reached a time when the government did a furniture renovation of that place. So it looks so different, it looks so better, it looks so fine as compared to that time. But even the time I was there, it was still smart, especially for a nobody like me. It also reminds me of the police vetting. And I want also to talk about vetting. In Kenya, tuachane na mambo ya vetting. We are playing to the gallery. It doesn't assist. Now, let me start with the time when I was in the very same room. It was a parliamentary select committee investigating the death of Robert John Ouko. When it came to my time for cross-examination, it happened at the county hall. I remember that day arriving there. When I arrived there, before even entering there, I think I must have met Gor Sungu. That fellow is a gentleman. People wa Kisumu bwana. We met, we talked, but mostly he wanted to take care of my reassurance. You know, appearing there before the cameras and whatever, you become nervous, you become disorganized, confused, anything. So he never covered anything about the evidence I'd given. He never commented on that, but he was just there to reassure me. And I think he wronged me somewhere there, because at that same time, I told him kindly, I don't want a situation where I'll be forced to name names, because I'd already sworn with people never to. So please don't place me in such a situation that I'll be in an awkward situation. And he promised a promise that he never kept. So from there, I was taken to the first room where I sat. There was nobody there I know. Whatever, I was just alone in the room, sitting there, not knowing anything. No newspaper, no radio, no nothing on the first floor. Stayed for some time. Is it 10 to 15 minutes? Then again, I was taken out of that room. I was taken to another room, which I usually see on TV. If you look properly, you'll see there is a room with a circular table formation. Usually some committees usually meet there. So I stayed there for another 15 to 20 minutes, only admiring that place, but knowing that this is a place that I usually see, but I did not know what was to happen next or what was to do anything else. I stayed there for, I said, 20 to 30, for some time. I was not looking at my watch. Then from there, I was taken out to the county hall. You see, county hall, there's a time before Nairobi became a city. It used to be a municipality and it used to be a county council. So that is where the county hall is. Like today, we have county assemblies. It is like the county assembly of that time. But when Nairobi became a city from a municipality, first of all, it was a municipality, then it became a city. When it became a city, then they built the city hall. That is where the councillors were taken. So this hall was just there and next to the parliament. So it's called county hall. So I was taken to a place just like here. And next to me, there was a door here. There was nobody there. There was nobody who was talking to me anything. There was nobody who was giving me any brief. Nobody was telling me anything. Just seated there, nervous. Of course, you have to be nervous. Then some detectives came. They told me, unakumbuka kila kitu vile ulikuwa sijui ni nini? I said, nakumbuka. You see, the best way to talk in such a situation or anywhere, media or anything, you just say what you know. Usiongeze chumvi or whatever, and don't make things, what many of us try to make things reasonable. You see, as you are giving evidence or when you are writing the statement, you discover that some ends do not tighten up. No, don't. The only person who can make a very sure story without any loopholes is a person called CCTV. But we human beings, and if you find a story that has no loophole or anything, know that that is a fiction. Because a fiction, wewe ndio una design your story, so you una design unaweka bila whatever. But you see, if you're somewhere and you find there are times when you come out is when you discover, hey, by the way, watch your kitu. So just tell everything the way it comes to your mind, and that. So that is how I assured the detective that I'm okay. But I remember the last minute before I walked in, they said, lakini usijali, statement yako iko hapo. In case wanakuuliza swali, those were detectives telling me, in case wanakuuliza swali na unashindwa kujibu, you can always refer to there is a file there you'll be given. Said, okay. Then 5 minutes later, I was now called in. Calling in, imagine walking. Everybody there is a mheshimiwa or is a sergeant at arm. You are the only civilian there, not just a civilian. You are an unemployed civilian. Went there, sat down. I sat down. I think I was given 3 liquids. I was given tea. I was given a soft drink, and I was given mineral water. Told I could continue using them as we go on. I have that weakness that when I start talking or anything in a studio or anywhere, even if it takes long, I forget that I have things that are whatever. So we started, they asked me questions, and I relied purely on my mind. And I was always being told, in case of anything, you have your statement there, you can refer to that. But let me tell you my view. One secret about JI-TENGE. If I'm telling you something, my mind goes into auto stop. And in fact, there are even occasions I even avoid eye contact, because when I look at you, you get shocked or whatever. I get the impression, hey, kumbe this is shocking, or you become sympathetic. I just look aside and start talking to myself. And that is even when I'm writing statement. But I have this personal weakness that if I start reading the statement, I switch off my autopilot. And then there are those occasions I tried to start now. What was I thinking here? Looking at the statement, and then I get caught. So you give me that statement that I'd written, it will just lie there. So we continued. And if you can get that tape, there are questions Gorsung was tricking me to talk. I could even talk. It even made me to disclose the name of an officer, the late Inspector Wekesa, Chief Inspector Wekesa. He had disclosed certain things to me, and I had sworn never to tell anybody. But here I disclosed his name there, and then I disclosed his name, and then. And there are even some questions, if you check the Hansard, that you see, the committee, you can see, the committee that is interviewing the cabinet secretaries could be the same committee that interviewed me, of course. But the difference is, or if I can say, I had already written a statement. We had met with the committee several occasions, and they had decided that I was a star witness. So there are those things we had discussed, and I would say that such and such a thing, I would not want it to be talked publicly. I would want it to be referred to Agent X, Agent Y, such things. But when I was presenting myself to that preliminary hall, I was now being asked questions and the cameras were on, and I found that I could not tell them na tulisikizana hiyo hutaniuliza or anything. I tried going to maneno ya kuongea Agent X, but was still, especially Gorsung, he was pinning me. He's my friend, I can say, but he would pin me, ongea huko, ongea huko. If you check with the Hansard, I've even said a place that I cannot answer that question you're asking me unless I have my lawyer here. There's even a time I even mentioned, as I've said, I mentioned Wekesa from Misiho. And after saying that, you talk and inside you say, wow, what if Wekesa is watching the TV now and is watching? Then we completed the issues and I went home. I later, within a few days, in fact, I told Gorsung that there was an urgent need I wanted to see him. When I went to see him, I told him, I've mentioned Wekesa's name without his permission, and I know he would not approve. I wanted to rush to Misiho to go and visit him and apologize to him. Gorsungu facilitated for my leaving Nairobi to Misiho and back times, is it 2 or 3? I don't know. I've even forgotten. But even if I can remember, I can't tell you. So I went to Misiho, alighted, went to his home, met his widow. The widow was a Taita lady, and her children. I coincidentally met the son before I reached home. And the son was shedding tears, hugging me, saying, Uncle, you did a very good thing. I said, what? He said, we never knew what killed our father. You see, Wekesa is one of the victims who died because of the Ouko issue. He was followed and killed. So when I was saying it, Gorsungu did not honor my promise. But when he challenged me and I mentioned Wekesa, when I was visiting Wekesa's place, I went to his grave and found out that he's one of those people who were involved in the Ouko case, who were later followed and killed. He was killed at a place called Marich Pass. Marich Pass. Marich Pass is the last town you go before you go to Kainuk. And Kainuk is the last town that General Ogola was before he went to Seker area and died there. So those are those areas. But as I've said before, Ogola's death was a natural death. Ogola's death was because of faulty Air Force equipment. So that is how I was with that panel. Now we go to the last bit, which is about police vetting. As I said, vetting in Kenya is useless. It should not be there, and we should not even have it. I remember when the police were being vetted. There is an AP, Moitumburu, a funny name. It was a Meru who was telling the people, please don't sack us, because if you sack us, the next thing you'll see our pictures in the obituaries. And then there are the cases where investigations were never thorough. There was an investigation. Somebody just came and said Kingori Mwangi has an hotel and has matatus. But you see, Kingori Mwangi was not the only Kingori Mwangi in this world. There was somebody else with 3 names like him. 2 people actually. One had a matatu and one had a hotel. The way of finding out if he had an hotel, and I don't know whether having an hotel will interfere with the police work. Matatu, yes. But he said, Kingori Mwangi are some of those people who tell you they don't have, or he's dead. He did not have a diplomatic way of answering. You said, I have an hotel. Yeah, you go and eat. Go and tell them the owner said you have a free meal. You have a matatu, yeah, go to that matatu. But later it was discovered that these things were owned by. So there were this thing about vetting, especially the police vetting. When somebody came and gave a report on somebody, there were poor investigation as to verify whether that whatever is true or not. I also saw somebody, I've just told you that Chief Inspector Wekesa was killed at Marich Pass near Kainuk. So another police officer was asked, how much did you make your millions? He said, I used to be at Kainuk, and I saw there was a river Weiwei somewhere there. Is it River Tukwel or River Weiwei? I don't know. Because Weiwei empties water into River Tukwel. It's a tribune of River Tukwel. So there is a river there. He said, I came up with an idea. I bought a donkey. I bought a people. I used to supply people with water and I made money. That was 14 years ago. Is it 12 years ago? But today, if you are to supply water to Kainuk of today through a donkey and sell every jerrycan 20 shillings, 20 shillings, you cannot make that money. Then we had this issue about traffic police officers. Every week, every Friday, they would send money to each other through M-Pesa or whatever. So it became that traffic was a sort of a minting, a sort of a minting. I mean, not a minting. At traffic, joining the traffic police was a training that one went in through investment, because if you worked there for 2 to 3 years, you would automatically learn how to invest. An investment which any other police department did not know. But obviously we know how it was. I can also confirm that police have problems when it comes to investment, especially if you give them a site. I know of a police officer, name withheld, uh, who knew. Every time you place there a trap police, this is what we were taught in Kiganjo. Every time a police officer reaches a certain level, a crook also comes and becomes another level. For example, if the police is clever for 15 units, the crook will go 20 units. Then the police will go 25, then the crook will go 30, so it will zigzag all the way up. So that is and then again, when the National Police Service started also, National Police Service Commission started investigating how the police officers got their money. Uh, there's a police officer, sadly, he was very clever. He started collecting money, kept it in a box in his house. He called his wife and told the wife, every time he would collect 50, 50, 50, he would change it into 1,000. You remember the Ruto, to Uhuru changed some 1,000 to catch such people. So when he got several thousands, he would seek for permission to go home and place the money in a box. When he placed the money in the box, like that one of Form 1, that metallic box, and only two people had keys, him and his wife. So he went, he used to collect money. Now you see, if you have a way, or if you have a sure bet, and you're naokota kabisa, started collecting money, collected money. Every end month he would go home, and he used to tell the wife, if you're broke or anything, just flash me. I'll send you money through M-Pesa. So he went, and the box was full of 1,000 shillings. And then he completed his work. I completed his work in Wajir, then retired and went home and told the wife, now can you bring the box, the metallic box, so that we count the money and decide what to do with the money. The wife said, are you confused? Are you whatever? He called his son, who was working with the rec company, said, hebu ambie mamaka ache utani, atoe pesa tuhesabu. In fact, now you are here. Tuhesabu tujue ni ngapi, so that we know what to invest with the money. The mother told the mother said that your father must be imagining things. He may be high on a kaya. Then the police officer, the traffic police, the recently retired traffic officer, went to an agrochemist, said that when the agrochemist said, we hear that you have retired, you have now come back home. He said, yes, I've retired, I've come back home. He said, and I have cows, but these people don't know how to apply cattle dip. Whatever. So I have come, I'll take care of it myself. He was told how to mix, and then said since the ticks were fat and whatever, kumbe he was the one who was taking himself out. He went, and before reaching home, took the bottle of cattle dip, drank it the way you can drink Coca-Cola, a very cold Coca-Cola on a very hot day. He died. So it reminds a lot. I've just remembered my visit to the county hall, police vetting, and even that police officer who escaped from vetting but later died.